Welcome in everyone. It's been a few days since Atlantica dropped, so it's all still pretty fresh. A lot of people are still finding their way around in this new area, but I thought it's about time that I put a guide out because there are a lot of questions and a lot of stuff that we are unsure of as a community, so I thought I would put a little guide out. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the drops of Serenity because these things are hard to get. You get 14 just from completing the area that we are in at the moment from the various side quests and towers and stuff, but to unlock the gate at the end you need 2 heroes at level 63, and so you need 16 for that, so you need to find 2 more. I found one on a Karnheim roamer on the first day and I haven't seen one since. I've been checking the roaming monsters, haven't seen one since, so these things are rare. And one of the biggest setbacks that you can have in this stage is to level up the wrong hero, or not even the wrong hero because they're all going to be good eventually, but leveling up a hero that's not particularly going to help you progress through this new zone and in the Rift as well. The Rift is an important thing to talk about because as we level up, the Rift will level up with us, so we're going to need reliable heroes to be leveling alongside us. Otherwise, the Rift is going to get pretty difficult. So with that in mind, I am going to go through each class and give you my recommendations for the first heroes to level up. And the first class that I want to talk about is Warrior, the class that I play. And I have seen so many people leveling up Queen Critter that you wouldn't believe. And in my opinion, I don't think Queen Critter is going to help that much with the Rift and progress past this area that is full of trolls. So I don't think Queen Critter should be one of your first heroes to level up. If you have already leveled her up, then let me know how you get on as these new areas start coming out, but I don't think it's gonna be brilliant. You see, when you play Warrior, if you have the Triangle Sword and you have the Maverick Gauntlet, you don't really need a Rage Gain hero because you'll be using that. The Maverick Gauntlet will be your main gauntlet, so you'll be getting plenty of rage anyway. And the heroes that I would recommend to level up are Logan, because he's the weakened hero, he's got heals of base power, and he's just brilliant in the Rift as well. But I think as these new areas come out, we already know that the second area has got the Accursed Beast Folk in it, because Midoki told us in the sneak peek posts. So I think Logan is going to be key there when that gate opens and we get into the second area. And then for the second hero, now normally Garen and Logan are the power couple for Warrior class, because Garen's got the delay on base power, but in this instance I am gonna recommend to level up Hermes alongside Logan, because Hermes has got heals on his rage and he's got his base power which has recoil, but it is incredibly strong. And if you've seen them demon type bull things, he is quite good for that because they've just got so much health, it's unbelievable. So yeah, for me it will be Logan first and then Hermes. I'm still waiting to get that last drop that I need for Hermes, but yeah, that's my pair I would take for Warrior because you've got heals on rage power and Hermes heals are just huge. It's damage to all enemies, so if there's more enemies the heal you will receive is bigger. So even without cleanse, I've seen acid ticks at like 500k, like 500,000 damage, and then I've just healed it straight back up with Hermes Rage, and it's just been fantastic. So yeah, Hermes and Logan are my go-to to level up past level 60 for Warrior class. And then for Alchemist class, I've seen a lot of people talking about Ayako because Ayako has stun on Rage, but the thing with that is you're going to have her max stars. If your Ayako is not max stars, you're going to be in the Rift and you're going to be completely reliant on stun, and now stun and freeze don't work in the expert Rift if the threat is higher than your Rift power. So if the only hero that you have with you at level 65, level 70 is a stun hero, then you're probably going to die in the Rift. So for me, I would either go Ayako if you have her max stars, or Grim, because Grim's fantastic in the Rift. Ayako does heal you more if there's less enemies, which does help in some PvE situations, and the stun is handy to have, but I wouldn't fully rely on stun. But yeah, you don't really need a support hero with Alchemist class, so I would either go Ayako or Grim, or both if you want. But that's it really, that's all you need. If you do want some damage, you could go with Geba for your second one, but I think Alchemist will be fine with either of those. I would probably take the Grim route, but yeah, I've seen a lot of Alchemists being successful with maxed out Ayako in there. And then we've got the Mage class. Now, Mage class, your main heroes will be Dokio and Azar. That's your PvE combo, and it is pretty great because Dokio has stun on rage and weaken on rage and rage gain on base power. Azar, if you have him max stars, because he is unique, so it's not that easy to attain. If you have Azar max stars, then you will get cleanse and protect from his base power. If you don't have Azar max stars, then just use 100% protect on your weapon. You can incorporate it into multiple different weapon builds, but for me, I would just use the triangle sword. The problems come if you don't have Dokio at max stars, because if you don't have Dokio at max stars, then you won't have weaken, because that is the max star perk. So again, just like Ayako, you will be completely reliant on stun. And in the expert rift, if Dokio is the main hero that you bring up to level 70 with you, expert rift is going to become problematic, especially if your rift power is not maxed yet. You're going to start falling off a lot earlier, and you're not going to be able to push as far. So the difference between Mage and Alchemist is, with Alchemist, if you don't have Ayako at max stars, you can always use Grim. And in fact, there's certain situations where Grim is better for PvE anyway. But with Mage class, you don't have a plan B there. So if you don't have Dokio at max stars, then your proficiency for the Rift will be a lot lower than any other class. And for me, I would just give it up as a bad job and start building off of one of the other classes that is more accessible and less reliant on this one hero that is pretty new, only had one event, and it needs to be max stars. And then we've got the Hunter class. I've seen a lot of people recommending Lanasa for the Hunter class. Well, Lanasa is fantastic versus these trolls. I've used her, I've tried her, and she is brilliant. But I'm quite concerned if you level up Lanasa. So if you play Hunter class, Lanasa and MacLeod is probably the go-to, because you have delay on MacLeod rage and you have weaken on Lanasa rage, so you could kind of alternate the rages and not let any of the enemies get any powers off. But the problem with this combo is you don't have any heals, and you're gonna feel it because these enemies are hitting hard. So you're going to need to spend a ton of tuning forks to attune all your armor for each different fight and stuff. Or you can take Caliban. I would recommend Caliban over Lanasa, because while Lanasa is better for this little section with the trolls in it, we're not going to see many of these trolls as we move forward and we move through the gate. We're going to see the Accursed Beastmen in the second area, and we're going to see the Atlantican Outlaws in the third area. So I would still go with Caliban, because Caliban has weaken on base power, but it only weakens the back row. But what he has to go with that is massive heals on rage. Caliban's rage power is equivalent to Irma's rage power, so the more enemies there are, the more it will heal you. So you can weaken the back row, and then it doesn't even matter that the front row is not weakened, because you can get massive heal as well. And then if you alternate the rages, so you get a massive heal from Caliban on one turn, and then on the next turn you can delay everything with MacLeod. And I think that will work a lot better than Lanasa and any other. So for me, Hunter class, I would level up MacLeod and I would level up Caliban. And then finally, I'm going to talk about the Rogue class. Now, the Rogue class is not particularly well equipped for much in the game. I'm hoping that if I keep talking about it, Midoki will do something and fix it and make it good, but I doubt it. So anyway, the Rogue class. Your main hero is going to be Lucius. He's got Protect on base power, and he's got a pretty decent heal as well, but it takes 3 business days to charge up. And then you can choose a second hero, basically, because he's got weaken on rage, but the rage distributes, which means it's not very good for PvE, which is what it's built for, which don't make any sense. But anyway, so you've got Lucius as your main hero, and the second hero you can choose. So the Most common go-to is Eileen, because Eileen's the only rogue hero that does damage to all enemies. So when there's a screen full of enemies, you get consistent damage. Whereas all the distributor heroes, they will deal less damage the more enemies there are. And that's the problem. That's the main problem with rogue class. Most common go-to is Eileen for the damage to all enemies. Or you could go with Kira, because Kira has stun on rage. The rage is distributed and it hits 5 enemies randomly, which is a bit weird. It don't just hit all the screen, it hits 5 enemies randomly and it has a chance to stun. So you're going to get a little bit of crowd control there. It's not great in the Rift, but for the story mode, it will probably be alright. Or you've got Max Star Samael, who also has distributed rage, but his Max Star perk gives him a chance to stun on his rage, so that's to stun the entire screen. So by using Weakened from Lucius and then alternating it with stun from Samael or Kira, then I think you could do pretty well with that combo. The damage that you're going to see from the heroes is going to be low, because they're all distribute heroes. So you're going to need like a damage hammer to be able to push your way through some of the enemies, because obviously the less enemies there are, the more damage you're going to see from your hero. So you're going to have to be trying to cut down some of the enemies and then lead it into the rage. But then you have to punch as well, because the Lawful Gauntlet is terrible and the rage gain on it is really slow. So you're juggling a lot of different things with the rogue class. But I think with the right potions and with the right hero setup, you could make it work. So for me, it would be Lucius as the first to level 70, and then either Samael if you have him max stars, or Kira for the crowd control, for the stun. So yeah, those are my recommendations for the first heroes to spend your precious drops of Serenity on. Now, as we go forward in the game, the drops of Serenity will not be as scarce as they are now. I can guarantee that to you. We had the same situation with the drop of Patience. When Karnheim come out, the drops of Patience were super hard to get, and you had to be really selective with your heroes. The drop of Serenity feels the same. It's quite scarce. The Midoki have given us a few more than they give us with the drop of Patience. It's definitely an improvement on the Karnheim release, but they are still very scarce. I do think that we should see the drop of Serenity appear in the guild shop, just like the drop of Patience. I don't know when or anything, I don't really know, but I reckon that they will put that in there soon. For now though, if you want to try and farm them for now, the only place that we can find them right now is on the roaming monsters, the Karnheim roaming monsters and the Atlantica roaming monsters. So it's a good idea to check those as often as you realistically can, but it's pretty easy to do that. So the roaming monsters that we are targeting, they spawn every half an hour and they stay active for 20 minutes. But the good thing is they spawn quite close together, so we can do this twice every hour if we are able. If we've got no else to do, we are able to do this as often as we possibly can. So the spawn times for the Karnheim ones are 12 minutes and 42 minutes past the hour. You probably already knew that. The spawn times for the new Atlantica ones are at 17 minutes and 47 minutes past the hour. So the absolute best time to check the game is between 20 past and half past, or between 10 to and the hour. So let's say, now that I've told you that, let's say you just check your phone, somebody texted you or whatever, you check your phone and it's 25 past. Just hop in, it'll take 2 minutes. I would recommend that you just hop in, scroll right down to the bottom of the roaming monster list, have a quick look, and if you see one of those light blue drops, pick it up straight away. But for now, that's the best option that we have to try and get some more. So that means that what we have to do is to just try and be a little bit more selective, and as long as we level up heroes that are working and heroes that are helping us progress, we should just be able to farm and level up 2 reliable heroes to help us push the Rift and the story mode, and then at that point we'll be building up more and more, and we can start bringing up the rest of our hero classes as well. And this is another reason why having a dedicated hero class is important, because you don't really need me or anyone else to tell you which heroes to level up. You can just focus on the ones within your class, and you will get stronger and stronger and stronger the more heroes you are able to level up. So yeah, if you are pushing as quickly as you can through this new area, it's gonna be a grind, but I'm here with you, and I will be working on guides for various stages throughout, and when the gates open I will be covering it with videos as well. Let me know what class you are playing, and let me know which heroes you've leveled up, or the ones that you are planning to level up, because I'd like to know how you're getting on. And that is it from me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have been James B09. Good luck out there.